What's up, everybody? You are listening to a special social distancing edition of Switchflix, the podcast where we love and hate movies at the same time. I'm your host, Omar, and I am with my favorite patient zero, Haitham. Haitham, how's it going?
Uh, you know, Not bad actually. It's been going
Not
pretty
bad.
great.
Okay.
It's like I have been preparing my entire life for this.
Okay.
If anything, it's making my life easier. Because by law, there are people I'm supposed to social distance from 6 kilometers or more.
Okay.
I'm
But now
not
it's
allowed.
everybody.
I'm not allowed within 6 feet of playgrounds. I have been put on lockdown multiple times. So, I don't use toilet paper. So, as a whole, this is perfect for me. And I
That's
hope it goes
amazing.
on for as long as possible.
I'm really happy for you. Let's get into the podcast that we're about to do. The rules of the podcast are simple. Haitham and I review something. One of us has to love it. One of us will have to hate it. And who does what will be determined by the flip of a coin.
The coin of fate?
The coin of fate. The catch is that at any point in our debate, we can use the switch to change positions. So if you loved it, you now hate it. And if you hated it, you now love it. Today, we are reviewing the currently resurging and prescient Soderbergh film and current viral hit movie, Contagion. But first, we will be debating that age-old question, coronavirus. Is it real? Or is it? Is it? Is
This
it?
is some kind of conspiracy. I am
Yeah, it
now
could
going
be.
to flip the coin of fate. Okay. Well, I mean, it's not really a coin because in these dire times, I can't go to the bank or do
You
anything
got to
like
make
that.
do. You got to
Yes.
make do.
If it lands on heads, the flat part, you are not pro coronavirus. You're like you think it's real. You
I
think
think
it's
it's real.
real.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm a
If it
realist.
lands on tails,
Then I'm a conspiracy theorist
you're a
or just a
conspiracy theorist.
disbeliever or just
You're a
yeah,
disbeliever.
a
Okay?
disbeliever. I'm
Here
into
goes
it.
nothing.
Let's do it.
You are a disbeliever.
Yeah. Fantastic. So I mean, I guess you're the one to start this.
Yes. We are in the midst of a pandemic, something that scientists have been telling us is going to happen for a long time, and it has finally happened. There is medical proof. The whole medical community agrees on this. Scientifically speaking, it's true. We can see its effects happening on a day-to-day lives. Friends or friends of friends are being affected by it. This is clearly real.
Look, use this toilet paper in my background and wipe away your tears of fear. There's that band called Tears for Fears. That's you,
Yes.
because you are literally
Okay.
crying. Wow, wow. Oh my God. Do you
Okay.
know anyone who's actually succumbed to this so-called pandemic? Do you know
So,
anyone
okay.
personally? Like, do you
The
know?
the most famous song of Tears of Fears, "Mad World." This is where you belong. If you think that this pandemic isn't real, right? I mean, you could use some kind of what do you call it? Data where, oh, do I know somebody? Well, not yet, and I hope that it stays that way, and I hope that it stays that way to you too.
Mhm.
But there are clearly people all around the world, documented people. Why would anybody make up people dying from this? So what's the reason to fake these?
Why? Because they want to control the population, man. They want to control your mind. They want to take over. They just want you to stay home. They want you to stay cooped up in your little house so they can monitor our communications through apps like Zoom. Oh, hey, Zoom. Oh, hi. How convenient it is that we
Right.
suddenly have this wonderful tool to talk to each other. Well, you know what? You're not going to get me, okay? Because I'm only going to use Zoom to do shows like Switchflix that are very inconsequential and,
So
and that
when you
don't get
say
me in trouble.
so when you say they, who
They
do you mean they? Who's this they?
hold
You
on.
know?
Wait, I heard something.
Okay. God damn it. Right. Okay. So
Wait,
let's
it was
begin with
nothing.
just how ludicrous this is, right? You might say,
Yeah,
okay, it's the
yeah,
government
ludicrous, you
trying
say.
to do this. Well, this is worse for the government than it is for anybody else. The economy is tanking, or it's going to tank. It's only going to get worse. They're going to have to get rid of all their reserves. All for what? So they can hear you talk about toilet paper on Zoom,
Yeah, how
and you
about I
think,
tell you something? How about I tell you something? Keep that in mind. Talking about toilet paper on Zoom and then switch.
okay, so I think the toilet paper industry has actually behind this, right? They are trying to sell more toilet paper to us. And what better way to do it than to keep us in our homes and talk about sanitization? It is the sanitizers, it is the toilet paper industry, and it is, of course, China with their 5G who are doing this.
Okay, you've literally been stuck at home for way too long, trapped with your thoughts and your thoughts alone, with no rational other human being to actually tell you that you're losing your mind. What I'm about to do is I'm about to sanitize myself against your insanity. That's what I've done
Okay,
right now, right? That's what I've
you're
done right now. I've sanitized myself
you're
because it's the people like you that are going to cause a panic and fear, and they're going to scare people. No, you have to listen. You have to listen to the experts and
oh,
just do what they
listening like
say.
they're listening to us, right? Like, who are these experts? Who made them experts? Okay. And for
Probably the
secondly,
degrees.
oh, okay, their degrees.
Yeah, the
Okay,
degrees.
right. So,
Expertise,
like,
their
this is
experience.
this is all a conspiracy by big toilet paper. Okay, the big toilet paper industry doing this, and I haven't been cooped up at home. I've been walking
Yeah?
around touching people
No,
all over the
no,
place. Okay,
no,
because it's not
no.
real.
Haisam, no, this is okay, listen. I understand that you don't believe in this, this reality, but please do me a favor, stay home and touch nothing but yourself. Okay? Only
Switch.
touch yourself. Don't touch yourself. Don't ever touch yourself again, because that's literally why we are being forced to stay at home, because they want us all to become, to just become very familiar with our own, little pods. There are little
Right.
pods, and yeah, okay, fine. I've covered my walls in feces. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I
Okay.
don't ever leave my room. That's okay.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that, right? Because I
Okay.
know that this is all a scam, it's a sham, and they're trying to listen in on everything that we're trying to say. And look, I've had enough of this, all
I
right?
think, okay, let's begin with the fact that the government can pretty much do everything we're saying without having
Okay.
to throw this into the mix, right?
So let
There
me
is
tell you something.
no,
Sorry,
there
let me
is
interrupt you here for a
absolutely,
second, because what just happened is that your voice broke up, okay?
right.
You had a little bit of a breaking up of your voice. Why? Because it's the government trying to control you.
Okay, right. So here's the problem. It is your mistrust of the government, which is really causing, like it is causing you not to. Why aren't you trusting the scientists? The oh my God, where are you? Right? Are you outside
I'm
right now?
outside.
Are you?
I'm outside right now. I've gone
Please don't
outside.
do this.
I'm
Right.
enjoying the beautiful weather, and
Okay.
I'm going to
So
breathe the fresh air.
let me actually. Okay. So okay, explain what is happening. How are these people getting sick if it's not if the virus
Nobody's
isn't
getting
real?
sick. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Nothing that
Right.
you've heard about the virus has come from direct, contact with anybody. It's all filtered through the mass media, through memes, who are so dangerous, okay? And this is like this is the virus of the mind. It's not a virus of the body. It's a virus of the heart and the soul, okay? And we need to
Right.
set ourselves free. All right? What is
Okay.
happening is in your head. What's real? Am I real? Are you real? We don't know what's real anymore.
Okay, so what about all the photographs that we have seen, all the videos, all the first-hand accounts of people, the media, even regular people who have gone through these things, and how do you prove all of that? How do you disprove all of that?
Everything's been doctored. Everything has been filtered through the internet, AI, okay, robots, okay, artificial intelligence, Elon Musk, all right, Trump, okay, just
Yeah.
making it all happen so that you can get all that information, through your phone or through your screen to manipulate you. Okay, that's all
Right.
I'm gonna say. All right, because if I say any more, they might come and shut me
Right. And I hope they actually do shut you down, because this
down.
kind of misinformation is really hurting us as people. And I really hope that they stop our podcast, because we don't need any of this bullshit
Switch,
going out.
switch, switch,
I hope,
switch right now.
I think we need to switch this podcast into purely talking about conspiracies, or well, conspiracies, right? I mean, we all know what they're doing to our water, right? What they're putting into our
What are
waters.
wait? What are
Uh,
they doing in our water?
they're putting chemicals in our waters
What? What are you
to,
talking
yeah.
about?
Okay, to make us all politically correct. Okay, is what they're doing.
Okay.
They're putting like chemicals into our water that's turning us into mindless drones. We all know this. Okay, I mean,
No, we don't
it's
all
obvious.
know this.
But let's talk
What are
about
you
China,
talking
right?
about?
Let's
China?
specifically talk about China, right? Okay, so there they are, these Chinese people, right? They want to sell us their medical equipment, right? And so they started this virus in a lab, and now they started spreading it all over the world. Like, how come it started in China and now,
It
oh,
hit them
look,
first.
everybody in
What are you?
China is okay. Oh, now that it's in the rest
Aisa,
of the world, they're
no,
okay.
man. No, listen, man. It might have started in China, but it
Yeah.
attacked China first. China suffered severely. They've had huge problems because don't you think that if it
They,
started in China, they would have like sent it to India first? Like put it in
what?
India. Yeah.
No, they want to
As an
send it
Indian, why
to the
don't you
West.
tell
They
me
want to send
if
it to Italy. They want to send it to the US, right? This is where the big bucks are. They want those euros and those dollars. They don't want rupees.
they don't
Okay,
want
that's what they
rupees?
want. Like, how come China's okay now? Like, oh, like all of a sudden, like, their rate of infection has gotten lower because they're locked in. They're just sitting home eating their dogs and their rats and their bats, all
No, no, no,
happy,
no, no. This
selling
is
us
this is
equipment.
this is first of all the reason that China has gotten better was because they have locked people down and because they took control of it. That's what's happening. It's a gradual process. It's about the curve, flattening the curve, staying away from each other. There's so many things that you can do. All I'm saying is, you know what? Do everybody a favor and treat this like a permanent social distancing and isolation situation and just don't leave the house anymore. Okay,
Okay.
you're as dangerous as the virus itself. Your opinions are infectious. Okay, and you can cause like a lot of damage if these words of yours are allowed to go out in the world, much like one of the characters in the movie that we're about to review, Contagion.
Yeah.
But before we do that, you know, why don't you tell me, you know, what you really think? It's the moment of truth. Tell me what you really think.
Ah,
Is coronavirus real,
yes.
or is it? Is it?
uh, it's real. I
It's
think.
real.
I think it's real. It's definitely real, and
I think, without a shadow of a doubt, there's absolutely no two ways about it. It's absolutely real. Uh,
okay. I wasn't sure where you were gonna go with that for a second. I was like, it could go. He's given enough adjective that he could go the other way and be like,
I don't.
it's not real.
No, no, I don't think that. I think that purely for the sake of comedic relief, we can toss around the idea that there's some kind of vast conspiracy at foot, but unfortunately, that's not the case. Although what we are able to do, is entertain ourselves thoroughly and laugh and have some fun and try to maintain a sense of normalcy by adapting to the current situation, which is why
Yeah.
we are having our Zoom version of Switchflix,
Mhm.
which seems to be going swimmingly as far as I'm
Yeah, I
concerned.
think so.
I'm enjoying this.
Uh, so do you have your one breath synopsis for
Absolutely.
me?
You have sent me my one breath synopsis, as you always do. And
Yes.
I guess let's begin with that. Let's begin with our patented one breath
I would
synopsis.
like you to, how, like, when you wash your hands, you're supposed to do it for 20 seconds?
I know exactly how to wash my hands properly. I wash my hands
Yeah, but
multiple
like,
times
yeah,
a
you
day.
do it for like 20 seconds, right? I want
Yeah,
you to be
there's
washing your hand,
20.
like, because I think doing the one breath synopsis while washing your hands is actually the appropriate amount of time to wash your hands while,
That's an interesting way to think about it.
yeah, that's just
Okay, I'm
something
willing to do
to,
that.
for our audience. Yeah. I want
So
you to
if
wash your
the
hands and touch your
audience,
face.
No, you're not supposed to touch your face. You're just supposed to wash your hands. Okay, for our audience, you can wash your hands at the same time as I'm doing the one breath synopsis, which will make sure that you've washed your hands for, the appropriate amount of time. So here we go. And I hope I don't cough because, Contagion is a 2011 American thriller film directed by Steven Soderbergh. Its ensemble cast includes Marion Cotillard, Matt Damon, Lawrence Fishburne, Jude Law, Gwyneth Paltrow, Kate Winslet, Bryan Cranston, Jennifer Ailey, and Sana Lathan. The plot concerns the spread of a virus transmitted by fomites, attempts by medical researchers and public health officials to identify and contain the disease, the loss of social order in a pandemic, and the introduction of a vaccine to halt its spread. To follow several interacting plot lines, the film makes use of the multi-narrative hyperlink cinema style popularized in several of Soderbergh's films.
Wow.
Done.
Okay. You seem kind of red and out of breath. I think you need to get yourself checked.
I'm not normally able to do more than one thing simultaneously, and you just pushed the limits of my intellectual capacity. So really,
Okay.
that was tough.
I'm now about to flip the coin of fate again. If it lands on heads, you love Contagion. If it lands on tails, you hate Contagion. Here goes nothing.
Here goes nothing.
Heads, you love Contagion.
I love Contagion. I love Contagion. I love Contagion. I loved it more the second time that I watched it because it was so prescient when it came out, a good 9 years ago, that, it laid the groundwork for us to have some sort of context for what's happening today. It's just so sharply done, so well put together with these interacting narratives, all these crisscrossing, ensemble cast, giving it their all. It deserves to be a viral hit of its own.
Contagion is such a bland film, like completely sanitized in its way. It has no real drama. It's so kind of clinical that it doesn't have any excitement. Is this a thriller? Like, there's nothing thrilling about it. The cast is like an all-star cast, but they're not given much to do. They're just kind of playing kind of blank slates, and they don't have enough room to really breathe. I thought it was kind of just boring.
Boring? Okay, listen. There's a lot you can say about Contagion. One thing you cannot say about it is that it's boring. And at this moment, I've changed my background to show the trailer of Contagion. Just to see the kinetic energy that Steven Soderbergh put into each one of the scenes. Look, it's an all-star lineup. You got Gwyneth Paltrow, you've got Matt Damon, you've got Lawrence Fishburne, you've got Jude Law, you've got, just like every single one of these characters carries their weight in such a powerful way, and you feel for them. You just feel so strongly for them that while everything's falling apart,
you really don't feel anything for them. Like, I felt like there was no real like emotional core to any of these characters, and they all had kind of their stories, but there was no story there was no character I was really kind of rooting for, or like none of the deaths really hit me or I cared about in any way.
None of the deaths really hit you. Well, they certainly hit Matt Damon when his wife passes away suddenly out of the blue. It goes to show you what it's like to face such a shocking loss out of the blue with no preparation whatsoever. I mean, that is the type of reality that Steven Soderbergh, who's a master at representing heightened reality, was capable of doing.
And that's the other thing, right? Like, you talked about how prescient this is. Well, like, it's not. Like the amount of things that happen in the 120 days, like, we can see now that, hey, look, people aren't rioting on the streets.
Wait. Are you honestly trying to tell me that because the current pandemic is not as severe as the one in Contagion, where people were literally murdering each other, that this makes the movie worse? No, I can't accept that. No, because obviously a dramatic version of a pandemic is its most extreme version. In this version of his nightmare scenario, the percentage of people that passed away from this virus is like 20%. Obviously, in reality, it's far, far less. And that's why we're able to get a sense of catharsis, a sense of release from watching this movie and seeing how much worse it could be.
right? I thought
That's because
like
you are an alligator. You're a
an
crocodile.
alligator, crocodile tears. Is that what you're going for?
I don't know. You've got a
Is
thick
that,
skin of sorts. Okay, you're an
I'm
emotionless
oh,
reptilian bastard. That's what you are.
oh,
You can't feel. You have no
okay.
feelings.
No, no. Okay, so let's talk about like some of the different plots that they have, right? Jude Law's plot, like
Oh,
I mean,
amazing.
it is so over the top. I want to tell Jude Law, like, hey Jude, don't make it sad. Took a bad movie, made it worse,
No, no.
right?
Okay, look, here's the thing about Jude Law's character. First of all, Jude Law, exceptional actor. He disappears into his role every time. And I loved seeing him in this movie because he became his character, uh, Alan Crumwitty. All right. Even the
Switch.
name is crummy. Alan Crumwitty. And he's British, which is even worse because then
Switch.
he's obviously the bad guy. Switch.
Yes.
Alan Crumwitty. Alan Crumwitty, what kind of a dinky name is that for a bad guy? And they made him British just to make him seem like the bad guy. And guess what? If you'd had a doubt that he was a bad guy, then you just look at his teeth that are so
I
crooked that
think
they're literally pushing
uh,
his mouth open.
isn't
Like,
it
come on.
but isn't it
How-
so I'll tell you two things. One, he's British. Yes, it shows the global implications of a movie like this, right? It's not just about like, it's not just about America like movies are usually, right? It shows how this pandemic is global, right? He's British. It shows all the different countries.
Just keep
That's one.
saying he's British, so
Number
it doesn't
two,
change the
it's
situation.
actually the second part of it is that his storyline is like, like online there's people who are like, drink Clorox and we have like that fixes you, or have ginger, or there's people actually selling fake COVID-19 like solutions, and his story is kind of like so relevant to what's
Okay,
actually
so
happening.
so fine. So what you're saying is that because Steven Soderbergh happened to tap into the worst of humanity, which are profiteering liars, that this somehow becomes a decent character. No, he's so over the top. He's such a caricature that, I mean, he stands out like a sore thumb. And besides that, you've got characters like what's her name, the French
Marion,
actress, Marion
Marion,
Cotillard.
yeah.
Marion Cotillard, who's so forgettable in the movie that she just kind of disappears and leaves the movie for like most of it, and then comes back
She
at the end. You're like, who? What did you do? Who?
she
Why were you
disappears
there?
into the role. I think that's one. She disappears into her role is where she disappears. And I think it really shows that an actor of her caliber, right? Uh, she kind of disappears into this movie because there's so many other great actors in this. Lawrence Fishburne and his story, right? He's so fantastic in this film. And it's really great because it shows who the true heroes are, the people who work in the medical industry, who are you're
Look,
working so hard to keep us healthy.
here's the thing is that Lawrence Fishburne was incredibly monotonous, okay, and really just didn't make it seem like there was any kind of real panic or real kind of danger. The only person who was panicking like and made me feel like there was any kind of real danger was Fat Matt Damon. Fat Matt Damon in this movie with his
Why are you
extra
body
chub.
shaming it?
I'm not. I'm just saying that, like, I don't understand why Steven Soderbergh chose to make Matt Damon chubby, Lawrence Fishburne chubby as well. Not an issue. Obviously, I've had my fair share of problems with rounded faces and my
Yes,
own body journey.
but
So
why is
don't
that
get
a
me wrong.
negative towards the movie?
Because why can't this guy who's suffering because his wife has cheated on him and died, why can't he look like a proper movie star? Why does he have to make it
Because
look like, because he's a fat Matt Damon that the world sucks? I'm sorry,
stop
I don't
calling him
appreciate
Fat Matt Damon. Okay, I'm not gonna even dignify that with a response.
that. Fat
Okay,
Matt
but
Damon.
let's talk about Steven Soderbergh and his direction here, right?
Okay,
He really like the way he shoots things, like how clinical everything is, like how you see people, like it's so scary in this movie. Every time somebody touches somebody, it's a horror film,
so you
right?
know
And
what? I've changed my
it's
background. You know why I've changed my background? Because Steven Soderbergh's style is a mess, just
oh god,
like the background. It's a mess. It's garbage. Okay, it's completely
switch.
And it's kinetic, and it's meant to be messy. It's meant to be moving around. It's meant to take you from one place, throw you into the other, flip you upside down, spank you on your bottom, throw you over his shoulder, carry you around the house, then lay you down, and then yell in your face, because that's what
I,
a pandemic is like.
I think Steven Soderbergh is trying way too hard. His style is so distracting. Like the most interesting parts of this movie are kind of like the little informational dumps, and the rest of this movie, the story is just. I would much prefer it if this was like a documentary or something, because of
What?
how bland Steven Soderbergh makes this film. Like
Look,
he just makes
look.
it boring and bland.
The amount of things that were referenced in this movie were like, it was kind of like, it was a bit frightening that these things. I watched this movie when it came out and didn't notice that they were talking about social distancing, that they were talking about, not touching your face, that
Yeah.
they were talking about all of these things, that the germs live on surfaces, and he would just linger on a door handle after the door closed just a bit too long, and
You
really
know,
make you feel the sense
exactly.
of this evil thing traveling around,
Yeah.
everywhere. Like,
Exactly. You know what? This movie, it's a little too prescient. It knows a little too much in 2011.
whoa,
Is it a
what?
conspiracy? Is Steven Soderbergh behind the corona virus? Right? Like, is this a whole thing a conspiracy by the producers of Contagion to try and sell a few more, make a few more bucks, sell some video on demand, some
so
Blu-rays? Is
so we're
that
back
what's
into the
happening?
conspiracy theory situation now. Is that what's happening?
I'm just saying, it's a possibility. Okay? I think right now you are being the first syllable of the title of this movie. That's what you're being right now.
A
Okay?
Kant? Wait a
Well,
second. All right. I would say that we have reached the natural conclusion of this debate, and we have come to the moment of truth. So tell me, Haitham, what do you really think?
it was good.
Ah,
Uh,
ah,
yeah, it was good. I mean, I
yeah,
didn't love it or hate it.
okay.
It didn't. I think it didn't have too much of an emotional resonance with me for
Okay.
whatever reason. Uh, but it was kind of
Because
cool.
you're an alligator.
I'm an alligator.
You're an alligator or a crocodile, like, as I had said previously.
But I think like it's kind of interesting to see how this kind of people knew that something like this is possible, right? And kind of to see the real world parallels
Mhm.
between this movie. This is of course an extreme version, like because it's in a very condensed timeline compared to
Yes.
what's actually happening.
Yes.
But in that way, it's interesting. It's got a nice cast who are all doing strong work. But again, like I don't specifically care about any of the specific stories or like
Look,
the film. Yeah,
although I have to disagree with you, I enjoyed it so much more this time around. Okay,
yes,
yeah, of course, because it's so much more relevant in the sense that I could relate to this supremely extreme version of what the whole
yeah,
world is experiencing right now. But it was chilling to actually see what could have been, and
yes,
to be honest, it kind of made me feel better about
mm,
the world as it is, because there's so much happening that is so unexpected, right? But to see
yeah,
that there is a basis, even creatively, that people
yeah,
have looked at this before, and imagine how it would play out, and what we're experiencing right now is obviously it's really terrible for people who are in the minority, that are suffering the most from it, but
yes,
it could have been so much worse,
yeah,
and the fact is that we're lucky, we're very lucky,
yes,
that we're able to protect ourselves, and take these measures. And so there's that psychological element of why I enjoyed it more, but there is also the filmmaking element of, i
yes,
I was looking at it with 9 years down the line. I've
yeah.
seen a lot more movies, I have a lot more context, and I really enjoyed the way that it was just kinetic, and just it kept
I
moving
think
forward,
there is so like I think that opening sequence of just how it's just people touching things or just coughing. It is so tense and scary, and even though it's
very
just a
tense.
shot of a doorknob, right? Or just a coffee cup, or it like literally got me kind of like,
Yeah.
like sweaty, and like I was just on the edge of my seat just watching that, right?
I kept saying like, stay away from each other, like
Yeah,
stop
right.
touching each other, like get the hell away. Like it made you have this emotional reaction, and that was like well done on his part, because he managed to do that to get you to
Yeah,
react so strongly. And there is this one scene that really broke my heart.
right.
It really was so hard to watch. And it wasn't any of the scenes where people were like struggling and coughing and dying. Like, okay,
Yeah,
but it was a scene where Matt Damon finds out about the death of his wife, and he is
and
in disbelief.
yeah,
That just killed me, because
yeah,
it's just the bluntness of it,
yeah.
and the irrefutability, or the
It's him just going like, listening, and then going like, okay, when can I talk to my wife, right? Because of like the
exactly,
shock of like,
exactly.
right.
So I think the whole movie has this kind of driving force that is just unforgiving,
Yeah,
and doesn't pull its punches. And I really, I've over the years, my respect for Steven Soderbergh has just kept growing and growing, because he's
yeah.
really able to deliver this kind of this unstoppable experience that really takes you along for the ride. And so
How did you
for
feel
me,
about
I
kind of
really did enjoy it.
how do you feel about kind of the ending of the film? I really like
I feel,
the the complete last portion where they show how it started,
yeah,
right?
how it happened.
That's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was really cool. But what about the rest of like that final segment of the film?
I feel like he kind of wanted to tie everything together. I honestly feel like there's a lot that was left on the cutting room floor. I'm sure
Yeah,
that there were storylines that were delved into a bit deeper that were not kind of fully fleshed out, but that's okay. I felt relieved. I think I
yeah,
needed that. I needed to feel like it was resolved. I needed to feel
yeah,
like it was put away, and put, away into its little freezer with the rest of the viruses.
yeah,
And I think he understood that after experiencing this kind of thing, you do need to be given a sense of relief. And so
yeah,
so I did like it, that it had that conclusiveness, and then it went
yeah.
back to the beginning and showed you how it started. So no, I did enjoy the ending. I did very much.
I thought it was kind of, it almost like, I liked that that was the ending. It was a, happy ending for all intents and
Quote
purposes.
unquote. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it was, I guess it's kind of like, it wasn't a very cinematic ending, I guess, is like
Mm.
the way I want to kind of describe it, right? And I think I would have liked it to be more of a, like a climax, I think. But it's a different kind of film.
It's a
It's not
different kind
that
of
kind of
movie.
film,
It's a
right?
different kind of
It's
movie.
not
Yeah,
Outbreak, right?
yeah,
Is
yeah,
there any specific stories that you? I think this movie is so, like, there was a time when they used to make a lot of these movies, like Crash and Babel
yeah,
and Contagion and Traffic, where it was like these
yeah. All
interconnected movies,
interconnected. Yeah.
right? Like, and this movie so like of that kind
I think
of a
if you were to
time.
ask me, for me, it was like Kate Winslet,
Yeah,
and Matt Damon stories were the most riveting for me, and they were
yeah,
very prominent. But I did like that you just kind of kept traveling around and seeing how this thing kind of spread. Um,
yeah,
but look, ultimately, I think it's a very timely movie, and it was
yes,
it was really, even though its subject matter, you would expect it to be kind of heavy right now. Actually, it
yeah,
ended up feeling cathartic, and
yeah.
I really thought I really enjoyed it. So, how many sanitizer squirts would you
Squirts.
squirts? How many squirts of sanitizer would you give Contagion?
7.5.
I
I think
I
it's
I think that's good. That makes sense. I'd give it like an 8. I'd give it an 8, definitely.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So I really enjoyed it, and that was good. So
yeah,
I guess that wraps up our first official uh, social distancing version of our of Switchflix. I think it went
yeah.
really well.
Mhm.
And I'd like to thank you all for listening to Switchflix. If you loved or hated the show, please do rate, subscribe, and leave some comments. It really helps us grow the podcast and the community. Your support is the distance between our social. I don't know if that makes sense.